And we're off to the races, like I normally say. Welcome to another almost famous radio podcast show with yours truly, Jim Francis Mesa. I am so pumped, guys. I had picked up my guitar in a hot second, and my next guest had the pleasure and the delight to watch me just rip it up, man. Rip those chords, right? As it were. Now we played some beautiful ballads from the '80s, I think, and so yeah, serenading my buddy. This guy is unbelievable. Welcome back, guys, to another show. Right, every night it seems. I'm jumping on with different wonderful people showcasing these talents, right? Tonight is one for the books because in an effort to inspire the masses, I decided to blow your brains with something unreal, out of this world. We are joined by a true multi-layered, multi-talented actor, host, filmmaker, give it up for Mr. Norman King the Fourth. How
Thank
are
you
you,
so
my man?
much. Thank you. Thank you for the intro, Jim. It's oh my gosh, I'm so honored.
Welcome to the show. You saw how I got myself pumped tonight. Um, I decided to bust out that acoustic
Yeah.
and play some strings. It was fun. Thanks so much for being the audience tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And your strings sound amazing. I wish I could play the guitar like that or any instrument.
It's been so long. Honest to God, it's a trick. It's called YouTube. YouTube There's no magic formula or sauce for that matter. It's all YouTube. Um, I owe a great honor, man, to having you on. I am very, very excited because you're quite the talented person. I mean, you've done a lot, you're multi-layered, multifaceted actor. You're a host also. You've done some interviews yourself on the red carpet. I've seen some of the stuff, and it's quite amazing. So kudos to you, man. And you've been on Layla's show as well as other Fashion Week show we're gonna talk about. That's very, very cool because you're the kind of person that sort of you created this company. If I'm not mistaken, you're the CEO of of NKIV Four. Yes, I'll say it correct. It's a creative production company where it bridges film, fashion, and storytelling all lumped into one, and it's phenomenal. I love that. So we're gonna talk about that. And yeah, so wherever you want to start, man. I mean, are you an Angelino and born and raised in LA? Are you LA born and raised or?
No, actually, I was actually born in Washington, D.C. I was born and raised there throughout, like elementary and middle school and high school. And then I moved to France. I moved to Paris actually in college.
Mhm.
I used to live in France for 3.5 years. And then I moved back to Washington, D.C. for a bit to work with PBS. And then I moved to Los Angeles about a year and a half ago. So I've been in Los Angeles for over a little bit over a year. Yeah.
How are we treating you here? Because it sounds like you're doing quite a splash here. I see you all over the place online. I have seen you online, and I don't think you're gonna want to go back to it. It's really cold, you know.
Oh, I joke that LA has softened me regarding weather, like when I go back to visit family on the East Coast in the holidays, I feel so cold and I'm very sensitive. So I think we're very spoiled here in Los Angeles. I
I'm
call
sure.
myself an Angelino now because I've been here, even though I've been here for only like a year and a half, I feel like this is my home and I love the weather. I love how I can get to the mountains and so fast with the
Yeah,
ocean, the beach so fast. So it's just so beautiful. Nothing like it.
it's fantastic. We coddle you, and we never let you guys go. Specifically, the good people. Now you started at PBS, right? Public Broadcasting Service.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
you decide you want to launch your own company. Was working with PBS or being a part of such a big conglomerate, did it inspire you and you kind of learn all the inner workings, if you will, and decided, you know what, I'm just going to create my own LLC? Is that how it started?
Well, I actually planned that when I was much younger. I always knew that I wanted to have my own production company ever since I was like probably like 8 years old, 10 years old, I would say. I was
Wow.
always writing from a very, very young age. And I started editing when I was around, I would say 8 or 7 years old. Like I asked my parents for a computer and I was like, I want to make things. I want to make these movies. And I always knew, thank you. I always knew I was kind of a control freak. I wanted to make things that I directed.
Mhm.
And, in college, I was able to, direct a few short films and get a lot of my films actually into film festivals across Europe, like in London and, Paris and Amsterdam, and then also in DC and LA, in the US. But I think PBS gave me that good structure. I worked for the Washington D.C. station, so WETA, based in D.C., and I was able to do a lot of documentary work and special projects and on helping fundraising for podcasts and different events. And it was a really great time, a really good experience. But yeah, I think I always knew I wanted to make my own production company from when I was very young, so it didn't just start after college.
Sure. Hearing you out, you sound like a visionary, a true visionary, and you have great aspirations. You're mature beyond your years. You're a very young person, and your dreams and aspirations sounds like they're paying dividends already. Now, tell me, I'm giddy, and I know I'm skipping around here. Podcasts are great, right? Not like a radio show or radio show. It's all linear. Podcasts, you can hodgepodge and kind of go
Yeah,
in
yeah.
different ways. It's fun in that sense. Wherever the sort of tangent, where you kind of follow the storyline, if you will. I had to ask you, like, what was Fashion Week like? Now, do you cover the LA or East Coast Fashion Week, or and the Netherlands, or you go outside of California, or how does that work?
So that's a very interesting question. So Fashion Week happens for different places in all around the world, and each city has them. So like Copenhagen, Denmark has Fashion Week. Paris has Fashion Week, as of course. Paris is the fashion capital. Milan,
Yes.
LA is starting to have more fashion events. So,
Mhm.
LA is catching up with the other fashion events that are happening globally. So, a lot of my friends that happen to work in PR or event planning, they reached out to me and they're like, hey, I've seen your interviews. I think you'd be great for Los Angeles Fashion Week. I'm putting together like a fashion show for Asian designers. So one of my friends, my good friends, had an event, and all of the designers were of Asian descent or
Sure.
minorities. So it was great.
Heritage and
It was
stuff.
good to
Good.
see other people of color and uplifting their designs. And we had a show here in LA downtown, and I was able to be the MC and the host, and to interview all of the designers and many of
Cool.
the models from all over the world, from Japan to from France, from even from Philippines. It was an amazing
That's
experience.
stupendous. Now, some of the models, do you have you ever had? I mean, during this whole time, some of the same models that appear in Layla's show, right? Because she has great models on there. She has nothing but the best models. Shout out to Layla Giancanelli.
Yes,
She's a dear friend of mine. Great, great human being. She does so much for the different causes
yes,
and
yeah.
helps throughout the world on a global scale. So she's phenomenal into beauty, makeup, I mean, you name it. You must know her too, right?
Layla is the best. She throws the best events. We're always, at Rafi Lounge in Malibu. I love it. It's amazing. She's very
Mhm.
talented. She's so gifted, and she's so warm and
Yes, she
kind.
is.
Because she
Yes,
makes sure that everyone feels welcome when you go to her
and
event.
everyone, and she'll text you personally and
Yes.
say, "Hey, you coming to the event? What's up?"
Yes.
Phenomenal. She's phenomenal, as you know. I cannot say enough great things about her. So shout out to her and Juan, who we love
Yes.
and care about. Phenomenal. Um, so I had a question for you. Your name. Let's start. Norman King the Fourth. You're the fourth in a line of fantastic minds of just of great great minds. Is that in your lineage, or how do you get Norman King the Fourth?
I get to ask that question probably every single day,
Love it.
and I love it. I actually love
Yeah.
it. So my great great grandfather, I never met him, but he was the first Norman, obviously, and yeah, it just continues. So there were four Normans. I only met number three and number two. And currently it's only my father and I are living. So my grandfather passed away in 2006. Yeah, I'm the fourth Norman there is in the family. I promise it's not from like any royal line or anything like that. Everyone, like,
I know you're kidding me, because I think with that, if it were a moniker, regardless, people be rolling out red carpets for you. That's
oh
just,
my gosh, thank you. The no, yeah, it's I get asked all the time, are you gonna have a fifth? And I have no idea how to answer that question right now. I had to check back with you in like, I don't know, probably 10 years.
yeah. I think we are. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're eventually gonna reach lofty heights, and then you'll be like, dude, he was right all along. But we'll get around to that. What are some of the perks of hosting? I could tell you some of the perks along my life, but we're here to learn
Yeah.
about you and showcase your story. So what are the perks when you host some of these great events besides the food? Let's talk about some of the food.
Well, it's funny.
Go ahead.
Sometimes I'm like so hyped up for these events, I don't eat. It's like I just forget. Like I'm so overwhelmed with excitement. I'm so like, just meeting so many people, and it's just I forget to even like just like sit down and calm down and just, grab a sandwich or something. But other than that, I would say it's just wonderful to meet such great people, especially here in Los
Yeah,
Angeles, who are doing such creative and some such awesome creative and entrepreneur like newer
yeah,
things. It's an amazing opportunity. I would say that it's one of the jobs that you know if you have to love it, and
yeah,
it's phenomenal.
yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for anything else. Like it's a blessing to have to be able to do something like this.
Amen. God bestowed a lot of great traits in you, and wonderful gifts, and part of that are the perks of the gig. Um, Working on documentaries, right? Um,
Yes.
and such productions, national productions and such. Um, was there a moment or a project that really shaped your creative kind of approach?
Well, it's funny. I always liked narrative more than documentary. I would say I have to admit, like when I was working in documentary, it was a little different for me to approach like the storytelling, because
Hmm.
I was used to just writing scripts about people that didn't exist, and making my own characters. When you're talking about very very heavy subjects, like when I was working at PBS at WETA, we would make documentaries about Alzheimer's or about diseases or
Yeah.
things about well-being and health, and we would be interviewing doctors, or we had like podcasts or like certain things about like politics, and these are things that
Hmm.
you're talking about history, and you have talking about records, so the information is key. And
Yes.
so for me, I've always loved history. So going back and doing the research, that was something that I really, really enjoyed doing for helping getting these productions done, and also, helping with getting the funding. Just doing a bunch of research, just all the time, reading, and looking and going through stuff. So it was that's how I really approached it.
Sure.
From the artistic lens, I guess, or how you want to say
Yeah.
how I approached making documentaries is just making sure I knew everything about it
Sure.
from A to Z.
Yeah. I think that it's great, be well rounded in all these subject matters. Some of them are pretty heavy laden, like on you, like they definitely change you or move you in some respect. Um, I find that, you know, let's look back. PBS, growing up in the 80s, I'm an 80s kid. Grew up in the late 80s. I watched a lot of PBS. Needless to say, we didn't have all the channels and some cable channels or whatever we had at the time. So we watched PBS. And you know what? The documentaries back then, we always thought they were for the elderly, right? Because they were so like just dragging, and it's like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I'm really gonna get really into the meat and potatoes of this subject matter. It took a long time, and and it went through so much ups and downs, and in terms of the information. It just felt like it could have been more concise, and it was just long and dragging. But over time, if now I think that documentaries are far and wide, people watch them everywhere. There's documentaries about everything you could possibly imagine, and then more, and then some. So I find that, and I love the fact that you did your due diligence, and learning about whatever it was that you wanted to almost you wanted to deliver with such class and be able to, and finesse. You want to deliver on and in a way where it hadn't been done before, and also through an artistic lens, not losing the scope, and
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic, because it speaks volumes of the kind of person you are when gathering data and all that is concerned. Phenomenal. What can I
Thank
say?
you.
um was it do you also direct do you direct some of this stuff? Have you direct any short films, that sort of things? I thought you did that in Paris, right?
I did. So I directed a short film called Look at Me in Paris, France. It was shot all in France, and then we did the post production, editing, color correction, all in Boston,
Mm,
Massachusetts. And then we submitted it to a bunch of different film festivals around the country and also in Europe as well. So it was
mm.
an amazing experience. We got to actually shoot at one of the restaurants they filmed the TV show Emily in Paris.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it's called Breakfast in America, the diner
Okay.
we shot at. Shout out to Breakfast in America. They let us shoot
Yeah.
there for free. It was amazing because people in France are very welcoming to artists, especially artists of color, and they just want to see you thrive. So it was
Love
a
it.
it was an incredible experience. My best friend, Rocky Zuo, he's in Shanghai, China right now. He was the cinematographer, and I had a bunch of other friends that worked on set with me. My friend Rohita, she is currently living in New
Shout out.
Jersey and doing a bunch of different cool stuff with production as a
Love it.
producer. So yeah, it was just phenomenal. I had the best time ever. And of course, this was during like post we were just getting out of COVID. So we were still having a lot of different like regulations because I graduated college 2022. It's 2025 now. I'm trying to think. trying
Wow, it's like,
I
if I didn't
know.
know any better, I thought you were 18 years of age. For real.
Thank you.
You're like
Thank
young,
you.
dude. Jeez. Dang,
Thank
2022. I mean, it's still young, but it's not quite
Yeah,
18.
so
Wow.
I'm
I'm
24,
impressed.
but I graduated 2022, so I graduated
That's
when I was 20.
flattering, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
Now, let me ask you this. You lived abroad. Do you think it gave you a different sort of perspective on American film and culture?
it did. It definitely did. I got to see how French cinema is, and different types of cinema from around the world, from Italian cinema, even like British like cinema. It's so different than how Americans approach storytelling and even comedy. And I learned about how marketing for films also depends on each country. So it was not only good from an artistic perspective and from a marketing and business perspective, it was good to live in France because I would know what films I created or what TV shows I wanted to pitch, what would sell good in each country, and what wouldn't work well.
Yes. Wow, that's exciting. It's great to be able to kind of you get in on the privy to the movers and shakers and what people are doing, kind of on a world stage,
Yes.
and that's great to break in that way. Do you think, being a fashionista that you are we behind fashion wise in the United States these days, given that the internet, as it were, the internet has closed and kind of closed the gap and bridged the gap from all different countries. Um, where are we in the pecking order in terms of fashion, and where is like Japan and other countries versus us these days?
So that's a very interesting question. I have not yet been to Japan yet. I want to go there. I have a cousin that lives
Mhm.
there. I've been dying to go to Tokyo and to Osaka, Okinawa. From what I can say, I've experienced more of the European fashion. I've been to, I've been living in Paris. I've been all over Europe, in Amsterdam,
Mhm.
London. I wouldn't say that we're behind in America. I would just say it's different. We have a different approach, and even by state basis, like America is huge, so
Yes.
I mean, the U.S. itself is like each state's like its own country in a way. Um, the way we dress here,
California, for that matter, right?
right, right. Like the way we dress here in LA is so different than how we dress in New York. I would say, I mean, there's always a debate about like LA versus New York and, which one
Okay.
is more. I see creativity in both. So I can't say that like I prefer one or the other. I am from the East Coast, so I did grow up, seeing much more New York influence. But I wouldn't say we're behind. I think we are catching up, especially in LA. I think
Okay.
LA is going to catch up to there. It is really cool to see different influences from different ethnic groups, actually, depending on where
Okay.
you are in the country. Like, for instance, in Los Angeles, we see a lot of like Mexican influence on fashion. I think what's his name? There was a new fashion designer named Willie Chavarria. I hope I'm not butchering his name, but he has been doing a lot of different like approaches to making clothes, and a lot of it
Mhm.
is inspired from Latin American, specifically Mexican
I love it.
culture. So I
I
hope that
lived
we
in Mexico for 6 months. You know that, and Mexico is a very interesting place. It's so
yes,
rich in culture.
yes,
It's super rich in culture. And I'm gonna let you continue on with the story, but there's so much that can be derived from there and put out. And I'm happy that this person, Echeverria, that
yeah.
you're saying is bringing this out to sort of educate us and make a statement, right? With the clothes as well. So.
Absolutely, and I'm glad to see that there's so many, different people coming together, and we're a melting pot nation. So I'm really happy to see how diverse these voices are and how diverse these artists are. It's amazing.
And the disenfranchised people, the people of color, like you said earlier,
Yes.
all different colors, coming together and being able to shine bright. And I love that. And I'm not gonna sound cheesy or whatnot, but diamonds are made under pressure and
Yes.
lots of pressure. And I think and that's how we shine, all of us
Yes.
that come from.
Yeah, but LA is catching up with the fashion. I would say I
Okay.
will know that, like, I do see a lot more athleisure here. I will say that. Like, I will say that, like, I do see a lot more yoga pants, stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
So, of
The
course, when
Lulu, what are they
you're
called? The
in
Lululemon pants?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So I think we live in a very warm environment. It's very warm during the day and it's kind of cool at night. We're in a desert, right? So
sure.
I think what works here may not work in a different climate. Like in New York, it's like I feel like we have
I
more
like that.
long coats. In Paris, we have more, we wear black a lot. So in here in Los Angeles, we're gonna see a lot more colors and I like to
Mhm.
experiment. I think Los Angeles actually encouraged me to explore more with color and a little more of athleisure as well, like to mix it around to not always be so buttoned up. So yeah,
Right, I love that. I love that you pointed that out. Yeah. Um, so the climate, it has a lot to influence the what kind of threads or clothes is brought to the forefront in terms of fashion. And I think that's great that you pointed that out because that is true. Europe and New York, the East Coast and everything, it's got more coats and all that other stuff. And we're living by the beaches, we're like kind of laid back. It's kind of goes in a different direction in that sense. It's beautiful. Let's talk about your red carpet coverages. Like you talk to a lot of people. Isn't it fun? Like what has been for you like the most? I mean, there's been plenty of people you've talked to. What are some of the fun people you've spoken to that are well known, or somebody that says
yeah.
something that stood out in your mind? You know.
Well, there was one fashion designer, it was one of my favorites to interview. His name was Jesse J. Jesse J Collections, based
Mhm.
here in Los Angeles, and he was amazing to interview. And it was just very natural. He invited me to come see his showroom. It was really just just one of the most natural interviews I've had on the red carpet. I've been able to interview a lot of people through my show and through NKIV Productions, and my show is called Meet the Makers. So I get to interview
Yes.
people like in my office, in my studio here in West Hollywood, or like we try to do
Mhm.
try to do whatever we can. But I prefer to meet them in person. Uh, you know,
Okay.
I've, I've been able to interview one of my really good friends, Madison McGee, who is a podcaster, and she's one of the top podcasters of well, I wouldn't say my generation. She's technically a millennial, but like, we look the same age. She looks young, just like me. And she has a podcast called Ice Cold Case, which is about her investigating the murder of her father. So this is one of I got like a lot of
Yeah,
views on
well,
this, this interview I did with her. And
somber.
yeah, yeah. So crime podcasts are actually very, very, very
Yeah,
powerful.
those are huge. Yeah, those
Yeah,
are huge.
a lot of people are into that. So it was we got a lot of people interested in that
Yeah, I
interview.
mean, the internet is vast in the, you got internet sleuths and people that are trying to crack open some of these cold cases that went, dark, and that lost a kind of, people lost the trail. And then
Right.
there's cookie crumbs, and people follow them online, and at some point with the DNA and all these new gizmos and technology, you're able to crack them sometimes. And it's great because it brings a collective, community, almost, working together, and online, and there's tips, and people get tipped off, and all this great. Yeah, I watch a lot of crime TV, believe it or not, Norman. That's what I watch. I
Yep.
watch. That's all I watch. My wife and I, we watch a lot of scary movies. I'm a huge, love the
Oh
Halloween
gosh, I can't do
movies.
that.
We watch all the Halloween franchises around the clock. No, no, I'm kidding. We watch different types of things. I mean, because I'm not a reader anymore per se. I read so much as a kid that, then I developed ADHD, or I probably always had it, but it was probably tamed most likely before. So, and now I'm all over the place. And if I pick up a book, I just read the cover, and then I want to read right away the prologue, and then I want to read the back, and I'm
Yep.
done. Kind of get to the gist of it almost. But no, no, no. I like to watch a lot of documentaries, and I like to learn a lot from the people, from everyone, because everyone, has a story to tell, and it's great to give everybody an opportunity to tell that story. And it's also great to learn from the youth.
Yes.
I think a lot of people underestimate youth, the history of tomorrow. You guys, the youth, my son is 21, and folks are going to college, and also learning from your everyday experiences. At the end of the day, you can have all the books in the world you've read. It's somebody else's insight, but how much more when you're actually living. You live through experiences, and the experiences are merely lessons. You pick up from, you either learn from them or you don't, but regardless, you go through them, and that has is something you can also share and transcend. And it goes on and on, and lives through the lore, as it were. Your children and grandchildren, and so on and on and on, but so on and so forth. But let's get back to you. uh what about, let's talk about when you're not, like, what does a day look like in your life? Do you have animals? Do you have pets? I want to learn everything about you. Do you have pets? Do you have cats? Do
Oh,
you have dogs? You're a dog guy, or?
well, I had a dog. I used to have a dog, but that was back. It was my family dog. So his name was Jackson, and he passed away in
Mhm.
2023, or Christmas 2023. So yeah, he was 13 years old. So I don't think I'm gonna get any other pets though. At the
No.
moment, I live by myself, and right now it's just I travel a lot for work. Honestly, like I was in
Yeah.
Paris in September,
Jeez.
and not
Okay.
for
Yeah.
work, just to be there for 5 days to see some, my old friends, like my best friends that still live there. And,
Sure.
I got to interview one of my best friends actually, just because he released a new book.
Very
It's
cool.
called
See
My
what I'm
Eyes.
talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. So it
What's
was a
the
good
name of the book?
book
Let's
is
plug it
called,
in.
yeah, the book is called My Eyes Have Seen You.
My eyes
And
have seen you.
he's a fashion photographer, so he released this book of all his, like, his favorite photos that he's
Yes.
taken, like, whether it was editorial or just traveling all over the place. And it was just good to just relax and get out of LA for a little bit and just take in the city. And
Mhm.
um it's right now it's just I'm busy, busy, busy. It's so much
Sure.
going on. It's crazy. Like I have to put everything on my schedule. So I feel like having a pet or adding an animal to that would I don't think it'd be fair for the animal, honestly.
Right. And so you travel quite a bit. Now, is this whole standstill, as it were, with the planes, and obviously the government shutdown? That's
Hmm.
quite frankly ridiculous that they can't reach across the aisle, come to a comprehensive little, come to an agreement and kind of open this thing up. A lot of people are,
Yeah.
suffering as a result. Now, travelers also suffer. Is that putting a hamper on your, is it putting a damper on your flying or your trips, or is it getting in the way? Is it a deterrent? No?
Not too much, thank God. It hasn't done. I haven't been personally affected too much. I know some people that have been affected, but so far, right now, I'm pretty well based here. I'm going to be here for Thanksgiving, actually, in Los Angeles. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but I would like to, I always try to joke like I want to take another vacation soon, but every time it's like I think work is vacation. Honestly, I get
Yes,
excited to
sir.
work. So,
Sounds like, yeah, go ahead. Sounds
so
like you don't work a day in your life, right? If we had to, obviously quote that adage that if you do what you love doing a day,
yeah.
you won't work a day in your life,
Well,
So
there is a point when I get older, I always say like I want to be when I'm like 70 or something like that, and I'm just gonna travel the world more and just not do anything and just be to a point where but then even then I probably will be wanting to make something new and work on something. I saw a story recently where there was this woman who worked in this jewelry shop, like her shop, until she was like 100, and she's still doing it. She's like
beautifully done,
101 or
beautifully
something,
done.
so that might be me.
So what kept her going was the fact that her brain never stopped. It never ceased to continue to move forward. It's always moving forward. She's always thinking about the next thing she's got to do, the next thing she's got to do. And that's why when people retire, they don't find plan B while they're retired. They die rather quickly because the brain begins to deteriorate almost immediately.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Now let me ask you this. You're a multilingual creator. Yes?
yes.
How many languages do you speak?
Let's see. So I speak five. So including English, it's Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Spanish, French, Portuguese.
Russian?
I almost forget Russian. It's just so
Mhm.
funny. I forget sometimes Russian, and then a little bit of Italian as well.
Holy moly. Yeah. My wife's half Italian. I'm a, I'm a Jew Latino. I speak perfect Spanish. I live in Mexico. Do you speak? What can you say in
Solamente
Spanish?
en español, sí, entrevista en español, sí.
Sí, yo hice entrevistas anteriormente en la radio,
Sí,
en
podemos
español,
hablar solamente
además.
en español ahora, sí.
Sí, pero el problema que ocurre es que los radioescuchas no entienden, but I
Claro.
like it. What about yeah, I'm up for doing a Spanish show one of these days. You and I totally would
Yes,
love that. It would
yes,
be great for all of our people, right? Our audience. That's super cool,
absolutely.
dude. That you're like freaking multilingual.
Well,
Wow, Russian.
it's funny that when I get asked like where I'm from, people get confused because like when I'm speaking in Spanish, like people just assume I'm from a Spanish speaking country, so they assume
Cuba, Puerto Rico,
yes, yes, yeah, Puerto Rico, Dominica, like
Dominican Republic.
oh my goodness, all the time, and I love it because I love to confuse people.
Yes. It's like Babel. Everybody's like, "What's going on?" Like nobody
Yeah.
knows. You're like confusing everyone. I love it. So do you watch? It begs the question: do you watch um the TV programming these days? Do you watch it in every language that you can speak? I mean, it would
Yeah,
probably
well,
make sense, right?
I watch a lot of French TV. I watch a lot of different TV shows, a lot of Brazilian TV shows and Portuguese.
Oui,
Yeah.
oui, man.
So it's just I think it helps to practice. Like you have to keep practicing it because you lose it
Yeah,
if you don't. If you don't use it, you lose it. It's true. It's so true.
you got the truth.
I remember like there was a time where like I was forgetting my Russian because like I wasn't speaking it enough. So I actually have a lot of Russian friends here in Los Angeles. So now I'm, remembering it like a lot better because I'm speaking it like I'm telling them like, no, speak to me, don't speak to me in English, speak to me in Russian. So that way that I will never forget it. So it's good practice. And watching TV is just what I love to do as well, like to critique TV shows and everything. And so when I'm like,
Yes.
I'm missing like France or whatever, I'll watch like Lupin on Netflix or something like that,
Yeah.
or Spanish TV show.
That's so rad, dude. Now you also listen to podcasts in all these different languages?
I wouldn't say podcast, but I would say I listen to music in different languages. I would
Oh
a lot.
yeah,
Like, so I'm listening to,
phenomenal.
in fact, a lot of like bossa nova from like music from Brazil. I'm listening to that all the time.
Sure.
Brazilian jazz.
Metal, heavy metal. I have a lot of good friends of mine that are in bands and Brazilian bands that are just
Yes, yes.
they're otherworldly, as I like to call them. They're just phenomenal. Um, so tell me, Norman King the Fourth. I love it.
Thank
It's
you.
just something about it when you say it, it's powerful, bro. So
Thank
we're
you.
gonna put it out there into existence, okay? You're gonna be like the golden child, you know? Yeah, I mean, you already are, dude. You know, that's the thing. You wear a lot of hats and you speak a lot of languages, my man. You could
Thank
be triumphant in everywhere you go.
I
Really,
appreciate it,
you
man.
know?
Thank you. It's funny
All
because
over, huh? Go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, you know, I love trying to connect with people from all over the world. And when I was, doing red carpet interviews, still am doing them. I get to meet people from, every single country. So it helps to make them feel more comfortable when you're speaking their language.
Sure.
So when I was interviewing this man from France, he was, his English was, he was saying like, my English is not so good. So I was like, it's okay. I can speak to you in French. He was like, oh my God, like, parlez-vous français? I was like, oui, je parle français. And so we just continued on in French and it was good. And
Sure.
he felt so much more comfortable and like at home. So I always want to make people feel at home and,
Yes.
whether
Yes.
through my art or whether it's just me through talking to them. And
Make
that's
them
just,
feel like they're the only ones in the room, as they say, right? Anywhere you go.
yeah.
And it's like Bill Clinton had that that sort of edge over most people. He's able to
Mhm.
make anyone feel at home. They say when he talks to you, it's like you're the only thing that matters. He's super invested in you. I love that. Um, Let me ask you, can you share like what is it like to get you just got signed to a new talent agency? Can we talk about that real quick?
Sure. So, along with all the other things that I do, as producing, directing, and writing, right now I actually am signed with Peter Calentera's agency. So I am an
Congratulations, bro.
actor. Thank you. I do acting commercials, and I do a bunch of different like real vertical shorts as well. So a lot of these vertical films are taking over Hollywood.
Perfect.
They're
Yeah.
short form, like vertical movies. I don't know if anyone remembers like Jeffrey Katzenberg's like Quibi
I
act.
know. I
Yeah.
met him before several times. I used to be a limo driver, so I drove plenty of these guys. You
Oh
name
yeah,
it, I've driven them. Any
yeah,
old and yeah,
yeah.
yeah, big heavy hitter, no doubt.
Heavy, heavy hitter. So a lot of Chinese companies have actually taken over this and
That's
are
what I
coming
hear.
integrating into the American
Oh
market
yeah.
for vertical shorts and dramas and soap operas. So
You're well versed and insightful in many ways, man. You know what's happening. You know how the stew is getting cooked. You definitely know the ins and outs of the business. I'm very, I'm just beside myself. It's cool stuff, man.
thank you. I like to soak everything in. You gotta know about everything in order to make things
Yes,
happen. So
that's it. You can't be a one hit wonder of sorts. You gotta just be well rounded, and that you are, my friend.
thank you.
What sort of stories and messages are you hoping to bring to audiences through your company? Let's talk about your company, NKIV 4, right?
Yeah,
Let's talk about
NKIV
that.
Productions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, new projects and new upcoming stuff.
Yes.
What is the vision with this company?
The vision is to uplift stories that we haven't seen before and have audiences see people that look like me and you
Yes,
on the front screen as the main character rather than the side character. So the way I grew up, I always, I didn't really get to see myself in a way that I wanted to be portrayed. I was, is either the black kid that's always like the, sidekick or, not the heartthrob, the main, the man, like the man that everyone loves or the girls fall in love with. I want to change that. My mission
right,
is to make it that, I just finished a screenplay like a few months, well, really a year ago. And I have a bunch of different, screenplays and feature films and TV show concepts in the pitch decks are all ready to go. They're under my, my company, and all of them, if not most of them, have a lead that is a person of color, and that's
far
not
out.
and it's not in a stereotypical lens. So when I was growing up, like I mentioned before, I didn't see much of that non-stereotypical stuff. But then later I got to be inspired by like people like Shonda Rhimes from Grey's Anatomy and Scandal, these type of shows where I was seeing people that looked like me doing incredible, powerful things, and I want to continue that legacy. And
Yes.
outside the box too. So not just, regular, not just people being doctors, but people being captains of ships, people leading people into, people leading into space,
Yes.
or being, I wrote a story, that takes place in New York, and it's, there's a lot of fashion going around, and the
Sure.
fashion is, is surrounded by, Black artists and Puerto
Yes.
Rican designers. So it's something that I want people to know that we're here, and we're
Resonate with,
yes,
Yeah.
and we're here to make the future, you know, so colorful and magical.
I love it. Norman King the fourth, you're amazing in more ways than one. Don't ever lose your identity, and your newfound success or whatever
Thank
that may
you.
look like, or what, it seems like you're doing a lot and you're thriving. Your fame and success and everything, everywhere you go, always be the same person. Never lose your essence or your identity, because I see you in pretty lofty places, and um, always pledge to be who you are, and to obviously respect yourself, and always value yourself first, and your family and your lineage and who you are. And you're very intelligent. I think just hearing you out, I mean, from the get-go we started talking, can already tell you have a lot of aspirations. Such a young age, you already like virtuoso. You just know where you're going. You have your compass, and you're headed and relentlessly. And I can offer you only just give you my blessings and tell you have a friend in me. And anytime you want to jump on and do part two, you're welcome to come back to the show.
Thank you.
Hopefully, it'd be great to talk and meet sometime in person. I'd love to chat with you a little heart to heart.
Yes,
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Can you share your social media handles, please, with the viewership,
absolutely.
please?
My Instagram is at Norman_King_IV. And my production company's Instagram is at at NKIV Productions. And my website is normankingiv.com. And you can reach me there.
Thank you so much once again, and keep on shining, my man. All the blessing, all the best to you.
Thank you. God
Ladies and
bless
gentlemen,
you.
that's Michelle, most famous radio podcast. Yours truly, Jim Francis. Hello and goodbye until we meet again. Norman King the fourth, you guys. Need I say any more? Thank you, my man. That's my show. Talk to you soon, buddy.
Thank
Be
you.
well.